Good morning from the Green Swamp in Florida. We are heading into our favorite location where we've been doing a lot of research over the last 3 years. And we recently posted some photos of the area, but most importantly, some of the possible Sasquatch tracks we found. Here's Troy.
Morning, beautiful day. It's gorgeous out here today. 60 degrees, maybe 65.
This is honestly the best period of time to be out here. Most of the year you are sweating your butts off and working as hard as what feels like an athlete some days, but this feels amazing. So we thought we'd bring you on for the ride with us this morning for a little bit, show you the area, get to know us a bit more. And we want to thank you so much for following our pages or liking them. And if you continue to enjoy what you're seeing, we really encourage you to share with others. We're hoping to make a difference here.
Subscribe and like, as they always say.
And we're super new to this kind of stuff, so go easy on us, all right? Super new to social media. That's right, absolutely. Anything could help.
Well, here's all these pine cones, and these things are huge here in Florida.
So this is really neat.
And sometimes, if you go up to Ocala, they're even bigger than this. So I kind of get an idea of how big they are. They're all over from this tree. Here's a couple more. These are in better shape because they haven't been run over, but they haven't fully opened yet. But you can get an idea. And they make actually pretty good ornaments. You can paint them up, and my wife does a lot with those, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and for me, not originally being from Florida, well, Troy's not originally from Florida either, but he's been here much longer than I have. For whatever reason, when I moved down here, I never really thought of pine trees being down here, and pine trees in the south versus pine trees in the north, completely different appearance. And so when you see these huge pine cones off a pine tree that seems pretty petite compared to what I'm used to seeing in Pennsylvania, it's impressive. They are beautiful. We do find them out and about a lot. This time of year too, a lot of the pine needles obviously are dropping because it's getting cooler, and we're approaching what we believe is our winter season, even though it's often very sunny and warm here. And the pine needles will make beautiful coverage when we're walking through the trails, so you won't hear us as much as you would on dead leaves and so forth. So all right, we're going to head back in through the tree line, check a few areas out here off of the main trail.
Got some hog rooting here.
You can see the damage the hogs do to the ground when they are looking for food. It is quite impressive. Once again, that's another type of area. We'll look to see if we can find any Sasquatch tracks. You never really know if you get lucky one day and come across something like that. There's a mix of thoughts out there that they cover their tracks or choose where they step very wisely. So that all still on the table to determine what may be going on and why it's so difficult to find a lot of their footprints. Thank you, sir. Man, it got really high back there, huh? Or tall.
This whole area grew up quite a bit.
It's been a while since we've been out in this section of the location we like to visit, and last time we were here, the foliage was surely not as high. Trees were not down like they are in some locations here from recent storms. You can see you've got a couple down. And they surely were not like that last time we were out here. In addition, when we were out here before too, we were working with some new technology, and Troy has this really cool drone he's getting more comfortable using, and surely will help with, of course, aerial footage. But as we were shooting, we heard something relatively loud sound like it fell a ways in front of us, and we did not expect it. Of course, did not see anything. Some more rooting. This is pretty intense in the sense of they dug down pretty deep. You can see what Troy's footprint looked like with his boot in this type of dry dirt. So that's why we do our best trying to see if there's any footprints along the way. It would help with a lot of things that we're doing. How beautiful it is. How could you not want to spend time out here? You can see all the pine needles I mentioned earlier dropping from the pine trees. Troy was just looking up too to see if any of these branches were missing any leaves or needles based on the height. You know, if something's passing through here, would it get caught on them? Would it be something to be interested in eating? So we keep an eye on those types of things as well.
Be careful coming through here. I'm just afraid of snakes. We're getting some thick stuff.
Thank you.
So there's a lot of rattlesnakes out there, so we should be careful.
Just in case you didn't hear him because of my heavy walking, he said about keeping an eye out for snakes this time of day. High coverage, sun's coming up or sun is up. Like the sun bathes, you really have to be conscious of what you're stepping on and where you're stepping. You can see Troy's making use of this tree, which is about 3 feet off the ground, to look over top of everything to see what's on the other side. We'll give you a perspective of that in a moment. You can see something made a path coming through here. Got some brush and everything that was pushed down, which we're trying to make some use of. here we go. Looks like we've got a hog track perfectly in that part of the dry dirt. That was a little tough to make out with things on top of it. See this one nicely. We talked about the differences between the deer and the hog tracks before, and how the deers are more teardrop and the hogs are not. So I bet you it was our hog friends that helped make this path for us to get through.
Now since we're getting closer to the water, we gotta worry about water moccasins and rattlesnakes.
Isn't this the general vicinity where we came across that water moccasin? A little further back?
It was on the other side of this, further down, maybe about, I don't know, quarter of a mile.
Quarter mile.
One thing about Florida, there's a hog trail right here. So it comes right down the edge of this little swamp. Probably keeps on going that way. I want to walk up here a little bit and check. Pretty active for hogs anyway. I haven't seen any footprints, but.
Once again, you could see his boot print. So that's important to notice the difference between boot prints and Sasquatch feet that we're looking for. Like Troy said, you can see this really well-made hog trail coming right into the swamp area. A couple years ago, him and I came across a water moccasin in a swampy area, and he had walked right over it, and it was sitting on a tree, and I saw something vibrating, which happened to be the tongue of the water moccasin. So I had stopped in my tracks and shouted snake, and those are some of the photos we put on.
Old barbed wire fence here. Another post here, another one there. We probably had cattle out here way back in the 20s.
Yeah, a lot of this area has gone through different phases of things it was in the past. So we'll come across things like that. Yeah, you can see, I mean, this is not nearly as gnarly as things we walk through during rainy season, but it gives you a good perspective of the swamp area.
Every little bit of water, I always assume that there are alligators in water, no matter what, even this small amount. So keep an eye out for alligators, water moccasins, rattlesnakes. We got it all going on down here. So
Definitely good to share. Because you don't know the level of people interested in things like this, or just being in nature in general, which is the best part of it all, of course. You need to be aware of those items, because they are, of course, lethal at times. Got to keep your wits about you. That's one amazing thing about Troy, is his past hunting experience and just his awareness of his surroundings from being in the military. It's invaluable to our team, invaluable to me as a partner and as a close friend.
A lot of people will take that footprint, and even in the muddy water like this, you pull it out and they'll just assume that it's Bigfoot related, and it's not. I need toes. The one thing for me is I need toes. Or if I don't have toes, I need a very good heel and a mid-foot so I can see how that foot places in there. And you can see the movement of that big thick pad that they have at the bottom of their foot, just like a gorilla has. And maybe even better if you've got the dermal ridges in there as well, that'd be great. But I really like toes.
It's like the holy grail when it comes to looking for tracks. It's definitely the toes. There's another example of his boot print. That could be misleading, especially when you first see it and you're not noticing anything else around. But yeah, the toes, the dermal ridges, like tracks we found, the type of trail they were on, there was no way for us to identify that. So, but that would be quite amazing.
You know, Florida we've got a lot of nasty things, but we also have a lot of beautiful things in Florida as well. So it's always wonderful to come out and look. Hoping that we'd find something over here, but
More examples of different game trails. This is once again
now
the hogs we talked about.
this is good. This is an old waller. You can see where it's been kind of dug out, and the hogs actually lay in this and move around in it to kind of cover themselves up with mud and cool themselves off. That way it eliminates some of the parasites and bugs that get on them, keeps the mosquitoes off them as well. But obviously it hasn't filled up with water in a little bit. It's drying out. So I don't know if you can see that up in there, but they've dug a spot out up in there. And there's actually one over here we're going to walk over to.
Let's be aware of this tree.
Here's another good spot right here where the water had gotten in this area. It was damp. They probably use this as a waller too, but they started rooting it up as well, up around the trees, palmettos, and then up this way. So they've been all through here, hitting those wet spots. Now, if you could find some Sasquatch prints in these wallers, that would be great. Wallers rooting any type of mud, that'd be fantastic. They're so difficult to come by. And look how thick this is in here. How much would it take for a Bigfoot? Now I'm only 5'8", to just kind of squat down and they're gone. They're absolutely gone. We can't, over here we're lucky because there's an open, well, we can maybe see 20 feet here. But if you look any other direction, we're surrounded by this thick stuff. They could be laying down on the other side. You never see them.
Hey Troy, give me a wave. Okay, you can see him back there right now. He was just commenting that, they could easily, because of the height of the brush, just duck down and be difficult to see. So here's a good example where I have lost sight of him with the camera. Let me zoom in a little bit. Can make out a little bit of his hair, but it blends in so nicely. Of course, he's wearing camo, but they are masters of their domain in the woods, so we could easily be walking right past them and not have any idea.
But this is the way those Bigfoot went when we had our encounter.
Oh, it makes a lot of sense.
Of course, back then this was all dry.
Yeah, and definitely easy to get through. Or easier to get through for them. We plan to be sharing more soon about our experience the morning we found the potential footprints. You know what? I thought I saw that up there, too.
Oh yeah, over here. I'm not sure what that is. I'd have to look it up. I'm not sure if that's raccoon or it could be possum. Might be possum. Can't really see it.
Their little fingertips.
Yeah, it's got, you know, that oddball like thumb that it has on it. It looks like, but it's kind of stepped on, so it's hard to.
Oh yeah, good.
You see that?
Yeah, that does more look like a possum, huh?
Yeah. It looks like there's an oddball thumb, right?
Yep. Oh, what is... There's another track right here, unless my eyes are...
I think it's the same. You got the front one and the back one.
Well, maybe it's... Yeah, you're right. It's slipped. Because it's to the right of the one you first pointed out. And what's wild is it looks like the hand's making an OK symbol.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
It must be the same thing that slipped. Because honestly, it looks more like a... Yeah, that must have been it. Eyes play tricks on you. You want to think that's maybe a bear or something like that. I mean, it's very tiny, very tiny.
Yeah. Very
it's
small.
Not. Yeah, yeah.
We have mini ones.
A mini bear. I love it.
Mini, micro.
I'm going to check out an area up here and then get near a cypress swamp. Checking something out first. Haven't been to this spot.
There are snakes out today, typically in this weather, because it's colder down here in Florida, is that we're going to see them probably in the sun mostly. And they'll probably be ornery because they've been cold and they're trying to warm up. And they get kind of ornery.
See more trees down up here. I don't know if that could be from the recent storm damage. I mean, Milton was here, what, about a month ago, Troy? Or a little over a month?
Yeah, about that.
So we still have a fair amount of water built up in this area. Some of the trails are still closed for safety reasons, and then of course a lot of damage to the trees and forest itself.
And we also think that when we had our encounter is that the adults were in the wood line here and the juveniles were up on the road, which is just south of here, and the adults were whistling to either tell the juveniles to go back or inform them that we are here. But we believe they actually came to this area because this is where we heard the whistles from while we were on the dirt path up there.
And you could see for them being able to carry that sound through all of this, which, you know, sound is a interesting thing to analyze and determine distance and, you know, true volume of it, but it was crystal clear to us. So how far would you say we're from the main trail right now?
How far? Maybe about 200 yards.
Okay, so 200 yards.
This actually looks like an old road here. You barely see it. It looks like it's cut here and then cuts back in and then up again. Looks like the trees are cut pretty good for it. But we'll take a look.
Really good observation of how the plant life is lined up, or you see openings in between them. You know, why that may be. So his point about this possibly being an old road surely helps make our journey a little easier, but also, of course, the wildlife journey easier. A Sasquatch coming through things. Our cypress swamp is over there. About 100 yards or so.
Yeah, and here's a hog road. You see this hog trail right there? You can see where they stop right here and rub on it. Right on the side here. So again, they're rubbing to get the dirt off, get some of the bugs off. Oh look, see the centipede right here? There's a centipede right here, see him?
Hey, buddy. So we come across a fair amount of palmetto fields in the swamp, and they can get very, very big, very tall.
And very thick.
Yes. Could be interesting walking through these types of locations. Personally, we've done that how many times in the dark, and it's not an easy feat. But this goes back quite a ways, and you can see they're near the pine trees. So there's certain areas, of course, the plant life thrive. You got hardwoods that thrive around a certain type of plant life. You've got more of the swampy areas that require the water to thrive, and a series of plant life that go around them. So all things to keep in mind. So much to learn while you're out here. So much beauty. So many things that just take your breath away and are different every single time you come out. Do you remember what these purple flowers were called?
I don't remember.
You were saying earlier
They're not the beauty berries. I'm not sure what those purple flowers are.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. We see them often this time of year.
Yeah.
He was saying earlier the mix of beauty amongst some of the maybe wildlife or damage that's been done from storm season, and you'll come across these amazing looking flowers, and once again take your breath away.
Yep. And here's
goodness.
Here's another hog rub here. They like to get on these smaller trees as well, because this will scratch them real nice and actually get their back. So you can see it where they beat this up pretty good on both sides. And actually what they'll do is sometimes they'll crawl over the top of it to get underneath their armpits or their front legs and their chest. They'll crawl over the top of that. I've seen them bend these things down. They're just flopping.
Those hard to reach areas, huh?
Yeah, those hard to reach areas.
That is something. Yeah, look at all that caked on mud. You can see it. You see what he's saying right down the trail. You come on down, run right into it. We've got some good trail cam videos too that show hogs rubbing against the trees and doing all kinds of cool things. More rooting. As you can see, we have a pine tree that fell down.
And I'm looking for hair on the pine tree. I've never had any luck with it. Desi's had a lot better luck than I have. She's actually found a bobcat hair on a tree, but I haven't had very good luck.
And we're just not sure how, would they use something like this similar to, we were talking about the hogs and them rubbing against different trees to get the dirt off them, scratch themselves. Would they do something similar? If they have anything built up on their hair.
I would think they would. I mean, bears do it. You see hogs do it. I'm sure deer do it. They get an itch, they gotta scratch somehow.
Yeah, so we check as far as we could go, of course. Not 100% about their height, but we know we've got some well-known reports mention anywhere from, 6.5, 7 feet tall and up. We know in Florida things tend to be a little bit shorter and less in weight because of its proximity to the equator. Hopefully it's not bad luck to walk under a down pine tree like it is with a ladder. We're still following that same trail we were on, coming out of that first swampy area, so coming across some more trees that are down. Check that out. Look at those rows of pine trees. Looks like they go on forever. Do you think you see something out there?
I don't know. It looked like something moved in front of that tree way out. It's hard to tell. Everything moves in the woods. You got a little breeze and it looks like something moves.
Was it on the ground or?
Yeah,
in
so
the tree?
It was definitely connected to the ground. It appeared to be. And it moved in front of the tree. And behind the tree is a shadow. Front of the tree is illuminated by the sun. So you could see like a shadow, something in front of the tree that blocked out the sun.
So was it dark?
Yeah, it was dark. It moved to the left and then down. So, I don't see anything. I've been looking at it for a while now. Oh,
That bird sounds like a squeaky toy.
it does.
So we just sat down to take a little bit of a water break. Just sitting here listening, taking in the sights, and want to take another moment to thank everybody again for accepting any of the invitations we sent or your friends accepted, and we really do appreciate it. This has been a very eye-opening, entertaining, just relationship building experience for us the last 3 years. And
Here comes a buzzer. 2 of them. I think they think we're here permanently.
I think you're right.
They're right here.
Got some company. I will definitely feed you for at least a month, dude. I'm not easy prey.
Look at that guy. The shadows on the trees coming through it, it's nice.
So we love sitting here and listening for different sounds in nature. We were just joking around a bit. You have to have fun with your partner or your research team.
Let me tell you, it's very difficult with this one. No, she's easy to get along with. Beautiful day out here. Check out what we're looking at. Turn that camera around, or yeah, do a switcheroo.
Here's a good shot of a field of pine trees.
And while we're sitting here, I'm going to switch out my batteries on my GoPro because I'm sure that they are dead. Let's take a look. Well, 12%, that's not too bad.
You're getting there, huh?
Yeah, I'm switching this one out.
Well, mine actually kicked off about a minute or two ago, so I'll be changing mine soon too.
Actually, mine is a DJI Osmo 4K, and I love it. It's got an application to my phone where I can see what it's shooting at when I have it on my head, because I am notorious for making sure that it is not level, and that's very annoying.
So when you watch any of our videos and you end up getting a little nauseous,
It's me. It's my videography. I am not good
don't
at
forget that. No blaming it on me.
it. Yes, I will. Come on.
We came across some more, you can see, tree damage. Leaves are still green, so that's a sign that it's not old, or as old as some we may come across. So we've got a couple things that happened here. One tree caught two trees, another one came the whole way down. They say too in Florida that often good spot to look for arrowheads and any type of possible artifacts is underneath the bottom of a tree. That's a pretty nice spot to be a lookout if able to make the climb up there and just sit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this is a really nice spot.
What was that?
It's a really nice spot.
You heard all the noise I just made going through that palmetto bush. There's no way to hide in those situations. They are very loud. You'll often hear hogs crashing through them. But what you're seeing is typically during the day, this is what we're doing. We're walking through hopefully areas less traveled by people, so we could come across wildlife, any type of evidence, and then of course the ultimate goal of Class A or Type A sighting, which we have not had, and a lot of people in the world have not had, so it's an old bottle. No matter where you go, you find trash. You have a friend that collects old bottles. I don't know if she still does that. Lynette, if you do, I'll take this back with me. And we'll see if you still do. Either way, I want to get the litter out of the forest. What is this saying? Leave nothing but footprints? That's what we need to be doing. Good hope the Sasquatch leaves nothing but their footprints. Another reminder again, the hot spots for snakes. The sun comes up, it's going to get warmer, it's going to do some sunbathing, so in these areas you definitely want to continue to keep your eyes peeled. Yeah, they camouflage themselves so well. So you gotta look for anything that seems unique, out of the ordinary, which can be very difficult. We're actually on our way. We're going to start walking back to the main trail. That guy got knocked down too. You'll hear a mix of opinions about trees and different shapes as possible signage, for lack of better terms, of what Sasquatch may do, and thoughts about it pointing in a certain direction and what that really means, and just a lot of things on the table to process with that. And it's not, for us, it's not an easy fit because we just don't really know why. Don't know why, and there's just not enough evidence out there, at least in our locations, to say it's one thing versus the next. So there may be different scenarios on the other side of the country where the forests are just way more vast, or things may seem more like an anomaly than things that we've seen here so far. Like I said, we're getting on our way out here, going through some rough stuff, and speaking of rough stuff, just ran into some jaggers. So Troy just pulled out his Garmin GPS.
Yeah, we wanted to take the shortest route back to the main path here. There's a fire break. I don't know if you can see it on here, but I found the fire break using a satellite view on the Garmin. And you can see the main path here, if you can see it on there. I'm not sure if that you can. And then there's a fire break here and on the other side. So we're actually located, pull it over there where that triangle is. And then we need to go where that blue pin is. And that'll get us to the fire break that leads back to the main trail. But we want to just make the quickest path back, so that's why we pulled this out. Because if we just meander along the edge of the swamp, we'll run into it. But
Sounds great.
So-
Trusty tool.
Yeah, have a Garmin, have some sort of device. I always highly recommend having a compass just so you can orientate yourself, north, south, east, west. So.
Another good spot to look for here. Let's see if we see any animal hair down here coming through. Jumping out. So we are back on the main trail heading to the trailhead, and this concludes our outing today. It's been another beautiful one. Every time we're out here is just, I don't know, amazing.
It is amazing. Check out our website as well. The website has a lot of unique tools on there. It's got recommended sites that you can go to. It's got resources that you can visit as well, good reading, things that you can always learn. We have an app on there, the Merlin app. We recommend that for identifying birds versus any other type of animal or non-animal that you hear out in the woods.
And definitely, he said about the resources, recommended readings. We've got a few of our, close squatchers that have written really interesting, eye-opening, and just educational books. And that would be Mike Mays and Matt Pruitt. We're just
Jeff Meldrum.
Jeff as well, Dr. Meldrum. And we're going to continue to add to that list, but it's been a nice morning.
And we'll continue to add to that website and the tools for you guys to reach out, take a look at it. We'll do different videos as well on what we carry, what we recommend as far as maybe, oh look. Yep, it looks like, not sure what that is. It's some sort of scat, but it looks nasty. Well, it ain't pretty.
You can't say your goodbyes without talking about some poop, I guess.
Yep, poop.
But
It was probably coyote, but
it did look kind of nasty, though. It was a rough one. But we'll leave you on the last note. As we say, it's your turn to get in the woods.
get in the woods.
Until next time.